Hey there, everybody. I hope you are all doing absolutely fantastic today. Doesn't matter what day it is when you're watching this, I hope you're doing great. And if you're not, I want you to know that it's okay. And it's going to be okay. No matter what you have going on in life, it's going to pass. It is just part of the ebbs and flows, and things will get better. So I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to make this video because the past couple days I've had some reoccurring thoughts, and I really wanted to go ahead and just put them out there. And it has to do with me being a spiritual person. Now, my entire life, I have never really been one that claimed a religion. In my younger years, teenage, into like mid-20s, it was that I was pagan. But I never really, like, fully, I guess, like, delved into that. There were different aspects and pieces of it that I utilized in my life and things like that, but that was really it. I never really got, like heavy into doing ritual magic or anything like that. And as I've gotten older, I've gone through this awakening process that many, many people are going through right now. And something that I have found when it comes to having a conversation with somebody about being spiritual, when that aspect of the conversation comes up, usually the next question is, what does that mean for you? And so that's what this video is about. I want to go ahead and I want to explain to you guys what being spiritual is for me. Now, it's going to be different for absolutely everybody. It's not all sitting around in meditation all day long and being at peace. It just doesn't actually happen like that. Now, there are days that are heavy meditation days. There are many, many days that are very, very peaceful and absolutely spectacular. But being a spiritual person doesn't mean that we don't have the same ebbs and flows as everybody else. It usually just means that we are able to adapt to the ebbs and flows differently and have a different perspective on them, so that when hard things happen, tough things happen, it's not such a dramatic event in our lives. And so for me, when it comes to my explanation of being a spiritual person, it is becoming familiar with my inner self and becoming aware of my own thought patterns and my own habits of the egoic part of my mind. The thing about the egoic mind is it has these aspects that were created from prior events in our lives, and it created these containers for these emotions and feelings. And they are old events that are likely not going to happen again in our lives. And if they do, it is because we are stuck in the same patterns and we are not choosing to move away from certain things and into a different state of being, which creates a new path for us. That's a whole bunch of stuff that is just stuff that I have learned in my journey of being a spiritual person, going through this awakening process. Back to getting familiar with myself, my inner self. In the fantastic, beautiful words of Blue of Earth, if you guys haven't heard of her or checked her out, you definitely need to. It's the crunchy parts of myself. And in the past, those are the parts of me that I nearly hated about myself. Everything from procrastination to not thinking that I was worthy of a certain pay grade, or, believing that there's no way I'm ever going to get this amazing place that I now have, and I'm always going to be stuck renting, or whatever it happened to be. There's so many different parts of our own characters that keep us limited. And those are the parts that we usually hate, the shame, the guilt, the embarrassment, all those kinds of feelings that stem from the egoic mind creating these containers within our mind, and it continues to carry throughout life. So when it comes to being spiritual, for me, and these crunchy parts of the self, these are the different things that being a spiritual person kind of, it puts at the forefront of our mind. I have learned to become aware of these thought patterns, these egoic habits, these physical habits. Everything from my relationship with food and how I feel about exercise and all kinds of other stuff that really kept me in a state that I wasn't happy in. And the more I become aware of these things, the more I find that I have the ability to keep them in the forefront of my mind and not just make them subconscious habits or patterns anymore. I'm actually able to go ahead and consciously, which is a big part of this, to consciously make changes so that I am happier with my life. I am happier with myself. I am happier with everything that I have been through because it's brought me to where I'm at now. I couldn't imagine my life not going through some of the horrendous things that I have been through, because I wouldn't be the same person that I am today. And I wouldn't want that. I absolutely love who I am and where I'm at today and where I'm going, because going through this process and becoming a very spiritual person means that I have been able to go from living in survival to, as Joe Dispenza puts it, living in creation. Because my life is my own creation. I am not living in a victim mentality anymore. And I wake up every day and I am so grateful for what I have and what I'm able to do and where I'm able to go and what I'm able to see and my perception of the world. And that changes everything. It's so amazing how much that actually changes all of it. I now see the beauty in so many things that I never did before. I can go outside in an absolutely terrible rainy day or in the middle of a snowstorm, having to take care of my chickens or do whatever it is around the homestead. And I'm like, this is good. I love this. It has been my choice to be where I'm at, doing what I'm doing. And that makes such a huge difference in my path and what I'm doing, how I feel about it. You know, most people, when we're getting into our 30s, it's something like 90-something% of our daily routine is a subconscious habit. We can pretty much do it with our eyes closed. We don't have to worry about thinking about it. That is a subconscious habit, a subconscious pattern. And when we're able to break away from those subconscious things and make them conscious, that's when we can go ahead and we can make changes to them so that we enjoy stuff more, so that we perceive the beauty in those things more. And we can go ahead and we can make the decision to change it up and be like, hey, I don't want to take this route today. I'm going to go this way. See something new. Experience something new. Meet somebody new. And it's those little things, those little synchronicities that you start to notice that fall into place with your life that you're like, this was meant to be. That's one thing that actually when I was younger, I always would end up being like, wow, what a coincidence. And I don't even believe in coincidence anymore. It is not a part of my universe. There is no such thing as a coincidence. I absolutely 110,000, a million% believe that. There is no such thing as a coincidence, because everything is a consequence of an action. Okay? It doesn't matter if that action is a thought, a feeling, something that you're physically doing, it's a consequence of it. And being able to see that all of the stuff that is happening in my life isn't just all willy-nilly, like, oh, I'm so lucky that happened. No, I'm not lucky that it happened. I am blessed that it happened. I am grateful that it happened. But I'm not lucky, because I've made the choices that have set things in motion that have made that amazing thing happen to me. And something else that people who haven't gone through, aren't going through an awakening process, or aren't very deep into it, don't understand is that being spiritual, being very consciously aware, doesn't mean that I'm just happy-go-lucky about absolutely everything. Like, there are days when stuff sucks. There are days when I'm sadder than hell. There are days when I get angry. And the thing with emotions is that we're supposed to feel them. Emotions are energy in motion. Emotion. Okay? It makes sense when you go ahead and you learn about these kind of things. So when there is an emotion, it is important to feel that emotion in its entirety. If I am angry about something, I will sit with that anger. And most of the time, by the time I'm done sitting with that anger, I'm just not angry anymore. I either realize that it's not worth being angry about, or if I'm really trying to find out why, I go inward. And most of the times, my being angry doesn't have anything to do with the actual situation that is happening. It's because it reminds me of a past situation that I was not happy about. But I have the conscious awareness to go ahead and make the changes in how I perceive the situation so that I'm not angry about it. But feeling emotions is a super big part for me of being spiritual. The more that we feel stuff, the better we are, because the emotions aren't getting stuck in our body. When we end up having emotions that are stuck in our body, that's when we have pain in our shoulders, in our back, in our hands, in our knees, our feet, everywhere. Literally everywhere in our body can store emotions. And when you're able to traverse these times with grace, it makes a huge difference. It makes a difference in the outcome of these situations. One of the final parts about being spiritual for me is that all of the aspects of me, all of the crunchy parts of me that have been me, that have helped to make me as I am currently, I've learned to love them. And people say all the time that you've got to be able to love yourself before anyone else is going to love you. And I don't think that's fully true. I think that other people will love you. I think that you will go ahead and you will push back because you don't believe it, or there are things within you that are telling you, oh no, like this isn't real, or it's not true, or whatever it happens to be. But I think that before you learn to love yourself fully, there are definitely going to be people who love you. There are going to be people who try to love you. And when it comes to me and loving myself, it's been part of the journey that I'm probably most grateful for, because I'm not fighting myself anymore. There are still days where I still have to check in, and I have to be like, hey, why are you thinking like this? I have to go ahead and I have to take note of where my energy is focused at and understand what that is doing to my day, to my mental process. what it is doing in my life. And I have to change it. It's always going to happen. It is not something that is like, oh, I love myself. It's all magic. Guess what? Everything's fucking flowers and rainbows now. That doesn't work like that. It is a continuous process. I am always constantly learning and developing and evolving and growing and expanding. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely a stunning part of the process. Learning to love me and being grateful for absolutely everything that I have been through is astronomical in how I perceive the world. It changes everything. And so, being spiritual for me, it's not just about having a meditation practice and sitting around in peace and silence all the time. My life is obviously quite busy, as you guys see if you follow my channel and check out my other videos. I always have stuff going on. So learning to love me has probably been one of the biggest parts about my spiritual journey that has had such a vast impact on my life. Because I have not just learned to love parts of my character, not just the parts of me that I used to feel ashamed about or embarrassed about. It's not just those. I have learned to love my entire past. And that's really hard for someone who's been through stuff like I have. Most people don't get to that point at all. I have been able to reconnect with the inner child. And it's something that's pretty magical, really, because when you start digging into your inner self, you actually learn that the inner child never grew up, never went away, anything like that. The inner child is still there. It is the part of us that is playful and joyful and loves the beautiful little weird things. That is probably the purest form of who we are. And I think it is such a beautiful aspect of myself. And it's one of those things also that has been able to be kind of pulled out from the depths. I am a very happy, joyful person. I absolutely love some of the simplest things. Being able to go out playing in the rain, literally playing in the rain. Or yesterday I was working in the rain and I was like, oh my God, this is so great. Being able to bring out that part of me that was ashamed, embarrassed, guilt-ridden. It's given me the chance to be able to let that inner child know that it's okay. It is 100% okay to have those feelings, to feel that way, that it wasn't wrong, and that I went through those things and I felt those things because it was accurate to that time and what I had going on. And so bringing that part of me about in life is one of those things that is kind of magical. It's absolutely fantastic. So that's pretty much what it means to be spiritual for me. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you come back, check out more of them, subscribe so that you can continue to see my new content. There's going to be all kinds of new stuff coming up. I'm constantly doing stuff around the homestead, constantly having thoughts about stuff like this, and I want to be able to share it with you guys. I want to be able to inspire you guys to evolve, to change, to get out of those habits that are self-limiting and keeping you stuck where you don't want to be. And I hope that does this for you guys. I love you all so very much, and thank you for taking the time to watch the video. Have a great day.